ingredients to begin with, then we don't even have to worry about this. But if you make a meal from scratch, then you want to do that. So on this one, let's see. So this one, before being dehydrated, this is 3.5 cups. This is a portion for 2 adults and 2 children. So my family, we're two adults and 2 kids. This is enough to feed us with some additional things, obviously. We're not just scooping it out and just eating that and running away. We'll try to add a fruit or whatever good to it. This is the dehydrated results. So you're down to now 1.5 cups. The difference is this weighs a pound without the container, and just food, it goes down to 3 ounces. So for those of you who are avid backpackers, you want to travel and go camping. When we go camping, I put food for 3 or 4 days inside one of these. And I'll show you some samples in just a little bit on some of our bagging that I do. Because you can get a full meal down to this. And that's 4 people. Because when you rehydrate that, you're just going to boil that in some water, and then boom, it's all going to bounce right back. Now what's funny is this looks exactly, if you look at it, like what you're going to get when you open most commercially packaged foods. Minus the fact that theirs are pretty and white because they bleached everything. This is not bleached because these are just regular foods that you buy, better kind of foods. Here you go. This is like a sweet and sour noodles. I do this one because it just uses whole wheat pasta, and my kids will eat the spaghetti noodles. They love it. And it's just got tomatoes and green peppers and a little bit of chicken. It's got some, there's pineapple in there with pineapple juice. And I use the stuff that it's not pre-sweetened, so that way everybody can individually either sweeten or salt theirs to their taste. Mushrooms, all kinds of good stuff. And this is what it looks like. Doesn't it look creepy? So when you open this, don't expect to go, dinner's going to be ready soon. Everybody's going to be running for the hills. Don't let your family see it like this. This is your secret, okay? This is the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. This is what you see outside of the curtain, okay? And so I didn't actually rehydrate it to bring that, because I didn't want to come in with like 600 containers and have you guys be like, that's a lot of food. So anyway, I'm going to leave this out so you guys can come and look at it. Don't be concerned about breathing on this. This just gets trashed when we're done. Not because I'm trying to be impolite, but I don't want you to worry that my family's going to eat this and you're like, I don't want to be hovering over that. So this is just for sample purposes and not a problem. Because whenever I make these, I usually just make a bunch. So the nice part is when you're making a dinner now, you can make 3, 4, 5, 6 sets of that dinner at one time, just a bigger pot. I use a big stock pot. Just make a bunch of noodles at once. It doesn't take any more time to boil a bunch of noodles than it does couple noodles. And again, these are more like ones we take camping. We don't eat like this every night. We do a lot of fresh foods. We eat out of our garden a lot. But this is a fast, easy, quick meal. For lunch for my husband, where we're gone and he doesn't want to eat a sandwich, he just goes, picks out one that's a 1 or 2 serving, rehydrates it, and then boom, he's got a meal. And so it doesn't look really that much different than when you open a pre-made soup mix and you dump it from a company. Same situation. Which takes us to, if you want to build your own foods from dehydrated, I always tell everybody the best way to use your stuff is to start by actually making mixes, because that way you'll use them, or you'll at least have them for an emergency. I love Mylar bagging. Food Saver, fabulous. On Food Saver, I just say watch for any piercings that might happen, but you'll notice because it won't be fitting to the food anymore. But definitely on that, I like Mylar bags and oxygen absorbers. That's what I did. It's what I started with, so I just go with it. It's my happy place. So, and I have like the church distribution center for like $400 bucks. Has this big, like old timey looking, like radio, prefabricated radio looking thing, and it's actually a Mylar bag sealer. I love it. It's the creepiest looking thing, and it's the best ever. I turn on, I literally go, and I'm Mylar bagging. So there's no time period to wait on it heating up. It's just ready. And so for those of you, again, I think it's really deciding on what, well, there's a guy that I know who's really, really funny. And he says, you either pay tuition or you invest. Tuition is, I'm going to pick something that I really don't like, that it's not working for me, and try to figure out how to make it work. Or I'm going to go spend a little bit of money, and then over the time, go ahead and calculate some savings so that way I know I'm making it worth it. So when I first started dehydrating with my husband, I was like, oh, honey, okay, we have to get this big dehydrator. We're going to do all these amazing things. And he looked at me and he's like, oh, you're so cute. Yeah, you've done that about a lot of things. Remember your scrapbooking habit? And we have no completed scrapbooks. But we own a store of $10 million of scrap. And I was like, what are you talking about? Do not see that room. Yeah. And so he was like, remember whenever you loved this hobby? And I was like, what, this isn't a hobby, this is life or death, honey. And so he's like, okay, fine. All right. You go and you buy that dehydrator, but you get the small one, okay? You write down everything you put in there for a month. You show me a return on investment in 6 months or whatever, I'll let you upgrade to the big one. 2 months. 2 months. And so last year, around this time, because, and I haven't done it since, well, a little bit here and there, but not for a full month, I actually, in the month of August, before I came last September to do this class, actually put up a tally sheet, and I just started putting everything that I throw in there. Half a can of corn that you didn't use for dinner, that you didn't, nobody ate it, so you just throw it in there. Bread that you throw in there that you turn into croutons or bread crumbs. Every banana that goes in there, and while they're cheap, it adds up. I think we at least throw away 20 bucks in bananas because we get that vision of grandeur, and it's in the pre-set where you have to get the 6 or the 8, even though there's only 2 people that eat bananas, and they only eat 1 a week. We still go, but there's 8 on there. We've got to get all 8. Because we feel like if we tear it off, people will stare at us or an alarm will go off. It won't. You can totally tear off what you need. But for me now, I just grab a bunch because I don't care if they go ugly. It's all good. They're going to go in the dehydrator. So when they're cheap, I just grab them. But the fun part is so I was just kind of like writing down all the bananas and everything that I put in there and just telling what I thought it was worth and being really conservative. And I think that month alone it was $62, if I remember correctly, from just last August of 2009. Just 1 month of stuff that we didn't put in the fridge. It gets all creepy, moldy, and then nobody wants to deal with it, and then we have to throw away a $1 container because we don't want to handle that scary 50-cent food. And so I saved a lot of money, and I didn't even calculate the container savings. We don't throw away containers anymore because nothing gets moldy. And every now and then the kids throw something there, but mostly you open up my fridge and it's mostly fresh foods and things that you actually have room for that you like to eat. Instead of fitting all your good stuff around all the moldy stuff because you don't want to touch it, you don't want to deal with it. Never, if you wait long enough, one of your kids will finally come in and get mad and clean it out. Never happens. They're not geared for that. They see bad and they just go, ah, it's not my responsibility. I didn't own this house. Yes.
So after you throw things in a jar, how long is it good for? Like how you were saying that
this, I try to rotate these in it. As far as like these foods, like this.
You throw them in your dehydrator and then do you put them in a jar?
I actually Mylar bag them.
Oh my, okay. So then how long is it good to do? Like how long does that say?
All the professionals say a year.
A year.
I will actually go 3 years on a pre-made meal and be pretty comfortable. So it depends on your comfort level. I store my stuff in temperature control. I know it's sealed because the Mylar bag, you know, the oxygen absorber has squeezed the Mylar bag down. I'm comfortable with my system for storing it, that we rotate it and use it. So when we go camping, I literally just go downstairs and go, okay, this turkey teeny, boop, boop. Okay, everyone, let's go camping. So where a lot of people, the food takes so long, that's my easy part. It's finding the sunscreen and every swimsuit. That always takes me a long time. So this is actually really fast and fun. But again, you've got to be able to use that. So don't go and make 6 of the same thing if you're not sure you're going to use it. And if your family, if they turn their nose up at a meal, do not keep that meal. Don't keep it. If more, it's like a majority rules thing. As long as 3 out of the 4 of us like it, and my daughter's the picky eater, so she doesn't really count. Her opinion is like 2%. Everybody else gets like a greater share. If 3 of us like it, we're good. If she doesn't like it and 2 of us don't like it, it's dead to us.
But when comes an emergency and there's nothing, you're eating rice every day, don't eat anything.
Yeah, well, it was funny. Yeah, they actually have done lots of, but pick meals that you know you love, and if you're eating them on a regular basis, then you will actually be making meals that you know. Because you know the top 10 meals that your kids will eat. Spaghetti and meatballs, they'll eat those things every day of their lives if they can. So when you want to put it in a jar, and you can put this in a jar if you want, if you're going to use it. I just say, I have these in my kitchen like this, and Susan came over to my house and saw it when I was in the middle of getting everything out of glass jars to the plastic. So that was a little bit of a change, and I had some help with the labels so you can tell they're different heights. That's another day's project. So
I just have another question really fast.
What's that? Yes.
Whenever I make a roast, because I only have 2 kids and my husband, but we always have so many leftovers. So you can dehydrate those. Can you make jerky out of that way?
Absolutely. That's your best thing to do with it, especially if you know that you may not use a roast again for a while, or you're not sure you will. Jerky, everyone loves it, and you feel like you're getting 2 different things out of the same thing that you purchased, and that way you don't feel bad about buying a bigger roast if it's on sale. Then just go for it. Absolutely.
If my machine says not to do meat in it, can you still do it if it's already been cooked? Or do you
I wouldn't, but you can use your oven. So inside this book will tell you how to use the oven. You're just going to want to keep tabs on it. And how little are your kids? You do need to leave your door cracked. Okay, you need to leave the door cracked on it, so you might want to do that while